Hello, I am Jayaprakash Narayan, interacting with you in Ask JP. Aditya Srivardhan has a question. He is a mechanical engineer from BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. And Aditya, fire away.
Good morning, JP sir. My name is Aditya Srivardhan and I am from Hyderabad. I am pursuing my mechanical engineering in BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. So my question is, today's engineers are graduating and coming out of colleges and universities in mass numbers, and there are no required jobs for their skill sets and this quantity of and for the required quantity of students. So there is being huge unemployment in the market, and the students are not even pursuing. Most of the students are not even pursuing their jobs in engineering fields, and they are going out for other fields for getting job, due to many reasons. So the other domains are getting people are getting jobs in other domains, whereas not in engineering. In large numbers, this is happening. So how should we address this issue and overcome it? And what should we do to expand the scope of employment in engineering fields? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Aditya, for that question. It's a layered question. The question Aditya raised applies to all higher education in India. The higher education system in India is not producing people who can actually understand the needs of India and address the needs of India. Ultimately, what is employment? Employment is a product of your capacity to generate goods and services to meet the needs of the society. Employment is not a product of the degree paper. It's not something where the government employs you and because you have a piece of paper, they give you a designation and give you a monthly salary. That's what we are doing in large measure, and that's a tragedy. That's not employment. Employment is nothing but your capacity to provide goods and services to people at an affordable price and of reasonable quality. In return for these services and goods, the society then rewards you with your livelihood. That is employment. Now, if the universities, whether it's engineering or some other education, they are not able to fulfill the needs of society, provide the goods and services of quality, then there is a problem. So there are three layers in this question, as I see it. The first is the quality of education, which is uniquely an Indian problem, because there is no other large country where education is so subpar. While the demand is very strong in the country, the educational outcomes are appallingly bad. Our horrible examination system based on rote learning and mass copying oftentimes. Our antiquated curriculum, irrelevant to the needs of our society. Our incapacity to understand the needs of society and addressing the real challenges. Our theoretical engineering without any hands-on work. A mechanical engineer reads all about mechanical engineering but cannot open the hood of a car and understand what the problem is. And when the vehicle needs repairs, he is forced to take it to an illiterate mechanic to address the challenge. That's not engineering. That's merely a degree, a piece of paper. So first is the quality issues of the human resources, the quality of training. The second is, even with the best training, good quality human resources, is the economy growing fast enough, and is the growth robust enough and balanced enough to create real good jobs for the skilled workforce in the country? The third challenge is, even if these two conditions are okay, in a rapidly changing world with breathtaking advances in technology, artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing or 3D printing, tremendous changes in the energy grid, and a whole lot of things, when fewer and fewer people are able to produce more and more, to find employment in the new era, in the new world, is going to be a global challenge. And to some extent, it starts affecting us also right now. So all these three layers we should address. First things first. The thing that we need to do desperately and urgently is improve the quality of education, not have make-believe degrees. Our school education is in shambles. We are among the worst in the world in terms of educational outcomes. Only 1% of our children in schools meet the global standards. About 15–20% with some opportunity and some hard work probably can improve themselves and be up there. But about 80% are getting very little out of the so-called school education after years of schooling. For no fault of theirs. They're intelligent, they're hardworking, their parents are sacrificing a great deal to give their children a head start. And we have a vast education enterprise in the country. The demand side is very strong. Governments are spending lakhs of crores of rupees, and society values education. If somebody joins BITS Pilani or goes to IIT or gets into a premier service or something else, see the adulation and the celebration in India. Nowhere in the world do you see this. So you have all the ingredients for good education, but the outcomes are appallingly bad. We must address that, the outcomes. The central issue being, define what are the outcomes you are seeking from school education, and therefore measure them intelligently, evaluate intelligently, not rote-based learning questions, and honestly. Maybe 25, 30 years ago, I would not have to use the word honestly. Today, mass copying has become so rampant, it must be measured intelligently, without pressure on the kid, not based on rote learning and memory, but conceptual understanding and application of that knowledge for problem solving, etc. And honestly, without copying. Once you do that, in a system where the demand side is very strong, everybody will reorient themselves to improve the outcomes, because this is not what is sought in the system. So far, the system wants more marks and ranks in an absolutely inadequate evaluation system. Therefore, our whole education enterprise is producing that. But that's failing us. Therefore, improve the quality. There are a whole lot of things, but improve the quality. And in that, you must also ensure that there is research, there's innovation, there's problem solving, there are real life skills. And particularly as you go higher in the university and in technology education like engineering, if the education is not relevant to the productive needs of society, then that education is only meaningless. It's a piece of paper. So there must be interface with the industry and society and the economy outside. There must be a problem-solving approach. There must be innovation. There must be high-quality research continuously taking place. And of course, exposure to the industry and the economic activities outside for the technology undergraduate students. We have failed in a large measure in that. And finally, as I said, the world is changing very rapidly. There are breathtaking technological advances. Many scholars and thinkers and economists say that perhaps 70% of the jobs that the young people of today, students of today, are going to hold tomorrow, maybe 20, 30 years later, 70% of the jobs have not yet been created. Just imagine what happened in the last 30 years. The world changed dramatically. The biggest companies, the global icons of today are nowhere. The automobile companies of Detroit or the companies like IBM, the manufacturing giants, they're irrelevant. The largest companies in the world are Apple, Microsoft, your Tesla now, Facebook, Google, and many other things coming up every day. Technology is changes taking place dramatically. Unless we prepare our kids, not with merely a specific knowledge for a particular enterprise, but also with a broad enough ability to adapt and to innovate, to meet the changing conditions, to some extent anticipating the technological changes. Some areas we already have some idea. We are moving from the fossil fuel energy grid to renewable energy grid. There are enormous technical and managerial challenges in that, and economic and financial challenges in that, and opportunities in that. Similarly, in a whole range of activities, there are tremendous changes taking place. So far, India could at least send a large number of so-called engineers to information sector. About 5 million Indians are employed in information sector. But with ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., many of these jobs may become redundant. There will be newer kinds of jobs to meet newer challenges. Unless we prepare our youngsters to meet these newer and emerging challenges, we'll create a redundant workforce which is unemployable. We cannot work on the basis of the past 20 years. We have to work on the assumption of the next 20 years and prepare them for that. You cannot be precise in terms of transferring knowledge and skills, but you can anticipate the broad areas and give them adaptable knowledge and skills, and the ability to innovate and think fast. And of course, the youngsters also must continuously update their knowledge. If you take engineering, India is producing perhaps the largest number of engineers in the world, 1.5 million, 15 lakhs a year, roughly. A large proportion of them are going to information technology related sectors. A significant number of them are actually employed in low-end skills, not really in the high-end. Most of our engineers, by common admission, are unemployable because, like most other education in the country, it's only manufacturing degrees for most people without any insights or understanding or grasp of concepts or ability to apply them to solve the problems or enhance productivity. China is roughly equal to us in production. Other countries are at the range of United States, probably about 400,000 in a year. Others produce 100,000, 50,000, etc. But a lot of our human resources are wasted because of the substandard training. We have to address all these challenges. First things first, improve the quality of engineering training. Give them real skills, ability to work with the hands, actually add value. And then we have to really improve manufacturing in this country. Not only services, but manufacturing. True, manufacturing does not employ many people worldwide. And China has occupied a huge space. It became the world's factory. But a country as big and as diverse as India, unless we play a significant role in manufacturing, to the extent opportunities are available, to the extent supply chains have to be diversified, to the extent the global climate gives India a chance, we must utilize it fully. Therefore, better infrastructure, better skills, more investment opportunities, more encouragement of investments, and more incentives like production-linked incentives. They are all absolutely necessary and welcome. There's no question about it because the multiplier effect of manufacturing is phenomenal. But manufacturing alone is not sufficient, it's understood. Because in the whole world, probably, for most of the formal manufacturing, you only require about 180 to 200 million people to work in manufacturing sector. While we must have our share of that, that alone cannot provide employment in the modern world. That's why services sector is much bigger than manufacturing in much of the world, in the modern economy. But services of a new kind, in a changing world, to anticipate the needs. And therefore, we must look at the leisure industry. We must look at entertainment industry. We must look at communication industry. We must look at the creative talent to meet the future needs, the hospitality industry and other areas. So, enormous amount of anticipation of the future and providing the skills and giving them the confidence and increasingly help them to become employers rather than merely employees. Because small enterprises, small and medium enterprises are the heart of any economy. They are the ones that create employment, that stimulate the economy, that provide jobs, that give confidence to people, that help people innovate, that engender competition. And in a multidisciplinary world, engineering is not merely for the traditional engineering jobs. Healthcare requires engineering, equipment, design, technology, all kinds of stuff. Similarly, other fields. Now, there is so much of synergy now between so many branches of knowledge that separation, while for specialization you have to really focus on one area, unless you have the interdisciplinary skills and ability to synthesize, in a modern world which is rapidly getting integrated, jobs are going to be harder to find. So it's a challenge, but let's start with the beginning. Improve the quality of engineering education and all education at school and higher education level to really provide skills and ability to be productive. Then let's do whatever we can to stimulate the economy to create jobs in the country. And third, let's meet the challenges of the future. These are global challenges, not merely Indian challenges. Emerging technologies and breathtaking advances. Let's adapt to them, anticipate the future, and prepare our workforce for those needs. It's easier said than done, but it's absolutely vital for the future of our country and to give employment to the youth, whether engineers or other branches of knowledge.